...2026, baby. Boom. Finished this. I completed this game. First game of 2026. I actually completed this game. Finally. Man, I bought this game, man, a long time ago. Got rid of it, rebought it again, almost had it completed, and then lost all my saves. So people told me to go up in the cloud and try to retrieve it from the cloud, and come find out you had to have a PS Plus membership. So not only did I have to buy the game, I had to reinstall it and get a PS Plus membership, and I had to play this game back over again and go through all the stuff I already went through just so I complete the game. I was not happy, but guess what? This is an excellent game, man. I was wrong. I was wrong about this game. I was wrong. This story is really good, man. I'll tell you what. Doc Ock, I had to fight Doc Ock at the end. That battle was, yeah, I ain't gonna lie though, man. I was feeling pretty good, man, because once I started getting the swinging and stuff down, I was like, yeah, I'm loving this game. Man, I was swinging between buildings, man, turning left, man. I was floating in the air, turning this whole body around, man. I was starting to get the controls down. Yeah. I told y'all, I'm gonna finish some games this year. Good Lord see fit, I'm gonna finish. But this is my first game of 2026 that I completed. And I mean, I have been playing this game for so long. And I think a lot of it is that I watch a lot of YouTubers and stuff, and I just don't understand how they finish games so fast. And I get frustrated when I pop a game and I'm like, how come you ain't finished these games real fast? It's like, I get so frustrated because I can't finish these games. But 2026, finally got 2018 Spider-Man done. Now I'm playing another game, and I'll be putting a review up about this is, when I watched this and I was playing it, it is really a good story. And I think it shocked me because I was like, it's actually a pretty good story, man. He had the Mary Jane missions, man, they really weren't as bad as I thought. And I understand why people don't really like the Mary Jane, missions. I really do. And I can understand why they don't like the Mary Jane missions. I really do. But it didn't bother me too much because I said to myself, Vic, you're going to have to start playing these games just like you got to play these games the way you play them. You're not like everybody else. I don't know why I can't catch on like most people, but it takes me a while to get the controls down and all that, man. And I actually said to myself, I said, you're going to have to just really start listening to everything they say. You got to make sure you pay attention to the story. And, I'm not saying nobody else does that, but that's what I did. And I kept sitting there playing this game, and I was playing it after I got off work, and I was playing it like when I got off work, after I get done working out, or when I got done doing all the stuff I normally do on my normal day life, because I was like, I can't play it because I have to be at bed at a certain time. So, man, I was like, golly. But once I would save the game, then I'd be like, okay. And what sucked though, was I could have finished this game about 3 weeks ago, but I got so mad on that Doc Ock, that last battle with Doc Ock, man, that was a trip. I just was like, what am I doing wrong? It's like, man, I found out what I was doing wrong. Because I had to get on a playthrough, man. I had to see what they were doing on this playthrough. I was like, man, because I felt like I was really close. And come find out on Doc Ock, I had to use these web bombs. And I was doing real good, but I just didn't use no web bombs. So I was like, man, this guy just shot web bombs. I'm doing everything else. How come I can't just take him out the regular way? So, I got back on, and I did everything that I normally do, except once I got away from Doc Ock, because he keeps hitting you. So he kept hitting me. Once I got away from him, I'd be floating and I'd hit him with them web bombs. And I'd hit him a couple times, he hit me, and then I had to watch my little meter because he hit you so much, he put you down. And then And that little green triangle come up and you have to hit your button and you go in and then you start putting on the combos on this thing, man. Shoot, man, man, they had some nice moves in the fight sequences and stuff like that. But my favorite move though is most of the mission I took people out just like when it says R1 and R2. R1 and R2 is when you can grab stuff and use it as a use your web swinger and hit them with stuff. I took a lot of people out with that. But Doc Ock was the last one. But Rhino and the Lizard was a trip because Rhino, he's just a big mammoth dude, man. But I love the way he talked, and then uh, the lizard guy kept hitting him. The lizard guy kept hitting him with this. It's this venomous stuff. The lizard was pretty good, but I and then I was fighting. Uh, there was somewhat electro type of dude I was fighting, and I fought Electrode, and there was another guy I fought. And this was outside by these shipping docks. That took a while to do too. But when I started getting the hang of this game though, and I started getting them controls down, because I said to myself, because I told this guy he's an engineer, he's in his late 30s. I said, man, once I put my mind to something, man, I said, I really put my mind to something, I'm gonna finish the game. I really finished the game. So I started looking and I started really paying attention to, the controls, the moves, the dodge and all that. And so when I fought Electro at the shipping dock, that fight sequence was really good. But what I realized what I was doing was I started, your brain starts ticking and he's like, okay, I need to hide, duck, and cover, and I need to swing. And then, he has that spider sense. I mean, I use all this to put all this together. And I beat them two down. Then I turned around and I had to fight the Rhino and the Lizard Man. And then there was a part where Peter, Spider-Man got injected with this stuff that made him hallucinate. And I had to go through a sequence where I had to try to go through this weird section, man, and he was on these drugs and he had to get the antidote and stuff. That was pretty slick. Then there was this guy that was it's like he had his whole body turned into like a bright light or something, and he had these willpowers, and all come find out they all was connected to Doc Ock. It was all connected to the Oscorp thing. So the story was pretty slick. I'm shocked that I didn't give this a chance because I had owned this game when it first came out. Then I give it away. And then I wanted to play it again, so I went on Amazon and bought this one. And it was not near as much as it cost, but still I bought it twice. But I was wrong about this game. And then when I beat him, that was pretty tough, but I started figuring out what I was doing wrong with him too, because you got to move out the way and you got to time certain things. And once I started getting it, then when I started seeing all my saves starting to get back up to where I once was when I lost all my saves, but I said, if I lose anything this time, I'm on the PS Plus membership. But you know what sucks? Is you got to have PS Plus membership in order to get all your games to go to the cloud. Yeah, that's how they get you. But anyway, I beat him. I can't think what his name is, but the guy that all these had something to do with Oscorp, but Doc Ock was the main one. But Doc Ock was like really upset over the Osborn, and so anyway, I got through that part. Then when I got to Doc Ock, I said, "There's where I lost all." When I got to Doc Ock, that was actually the last boss. And that's where I was at when I lost all my damn saves. But when I beat Doc Ock, I was sitting up here while I went like this. I was like, no way. I was like, no way. And then boom, it flipped to, Spider-Man moving into this apartment and Miles Morales. Now, Miles Morales got bit by one of those spiders that was in one of Mary Jane's mission and got on her jacket. And then when she went back to Aunt May, because she helps all these people at this place, the spider got off Mary Jane, and then Miles Morales was moving the box and it bit Miles Morales because they was doing this genetic, they was working on these genetic spiders to try to find out how Spider-Man had his powers. So Miles Morales gets beaten, and he ends up getting, bit by this spider. But at the end, the credits was rolling, but at the end it showed. Let me get back. When Doc Ock was hard to beat. So once I beat Doc Ock, he got, they had a dialogue there where him and Doc Ock was talking. Doc Ock was like, "Man, you should, you don't know what Oscorp did and everything like that." And then, Peter was like, because Doc Ock knew it was Peter, and Peter's like, "You knew the whole time?" He goes, "You knew my Aunt May might die," and he said, "You knew I was, and he said, Doc Ock knew that his aunt could die, and that's when Peter's like, "I can't believe it." And he goes, "Man, I looked up to you. He was like a father figure to me." So it really hurt Peter, which is Spider-Man. So he takes the serum, and when he gets there, the guy's like, he goes, "Hey, can you save my aunt?" And he goes, "Can you make sure you can get a vaccine made with this serum to save a lot of people in the city?" He goes, "No, it's going to take a while." He says, "Now, if you take that, you can save your Aunt May." He goes, "But you're going to have a lot of people die in the city." So he had to sacrifice Aunt May, and Aunt May was dying, and she said, "Let me see your face." And he goes, "You knew it was me, Aunt May?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then he took off his mask, and she just looked at him and stuff, and it was really touching. He started crying and stuff. So then it goes into the part where, they're at Aunt May's funeral, and then Miles Morales is there because, obviously Miles Morales lost his dad. And so that was pretty cool because Miles Morales was there with his mom, and they had lost his dad earlier in this because his dad sacrificed trying to save people and he got killed and stuff. So, Miles Morales could relate to Peter's pain. So then after that, it goes to, Mary Jane and Peter talking, and then, Mary Jane knows that Peter's Spider-Man. He says, well, he said something that he was supposed to stay with him, and Miles was supposed to be doing something, staying with Miles or something. She goes, "Well, you can stay with me if you want." He goes, "I thought you," he goes, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah." So I guess he ends up staying with, the way they showed is like, Mary Jane said, "You can move in with me for a little bit till you get your own apartment." So then it switches to Miles Morales helping Peter Parker move in. And then Miles Morales said, "Hey, man, I want to tell you something, man." He said, "I think my body's going through something." So Peter's sitting there like, "Oh, yeah, that happens, man. You're just growing up." He thought it was going to be like your body's just making these changes. And then he turns around. Peter's like, "No," and then he jumps up, and he's jumped up, and he's sitting on top of the ceiling. And then Peter jumps up, and they both look at each other, and then that was the end. And the credits roll, and I just stood there like this watching the credits, man. And I ain't gonna lie, I was like this. And cause I do that every time I beat a game. So anyway, after all the credits roll, it says you completed the main story of Spider-Man. And then it had all this. You can go back and just do other stuff if you like, but I just wanted to complete the game. And I finally complete this game. And I have to tell you, man, I am very pleased. Now, I told you my journey of this Spider-Man game. I bought this game when it first came out. I got so frustrated because I got to stop doing that too, by the way. I watch all these YouTubers. I'm like, how are they beating these games so fast? How? I get a game, man. It takes me like 2 or 3 years to beat a game. How are they beating them games so much? But must be something about I'm not doing them right. But 2026, baby. Spider-Man. Got it done. Get it. Got it done. Get it. Got it done. But yeah, this is a good game, and I love the story, and it was not too bad. So I'm playing one more game right now. Once I play that game, I'll put a let you guys know how that game was, and then I'm gonna play something totally different. But yeah, it feels good, man. It always feels good when you complete a game. I always say complete a game. I don't say beat, but you can say beat, but I just say complete. But anyway, I ain't lying, man. I feel pretty damn good, man. This is only January the 10th. Yesterday was my birthday, January 9th, and I beat this game January the 8th. Man, I didn't get no sleep because here's the crazy part. So I usually try to go to bed at 9 o'clock, right? So it was 9 o'clock. So I brushed my teeth, washed my face, man, and you know, I was just sitting there, and always give my little cat. I give my cat she always stands there because she knows it's that time she's gonna be put up. I don't let her run around at night because she be having accidents, and so I said, you ain't having no accidents on me. But anyway, she sits there and she meows. I give her a little snack. So I'm sitting there going like this. Like, I know daggone well I need to get to bed at least by 9:30. So I like to get to bed at least by 9, right? Especially on work day. So I kept thinking about that game. After I brushed my teeth and washed my face and locked up my cat in her little room and give her snack, I went right back in there after turning the PS5 off, turned it back on, and went back to that battle with Doc Ock. And completed that bad boy, man. Completed it. I paid for it the next day at work, though. But what gets me, though, I paid for it. But when I went to work, I was so happy about beating that game, man. I freaking just rocked at work, man. I mean, I was like, man, I was on it. They threw something on me at the last minute. I was sitting there, I was doing this job because I'm kind of all over the place. My supervisor comes to me and she goes, hey, don't look at me like that. I said, they told me last week they wanted this done. I have till next week to get all that crap out of there. She goes, what did I just say? I said, I heard what you said. I said, they need to get their shit together. I said, I can't understand people make all this money. And I said, they act like imbeciles. I said, oh my God. She goes, well, just, do what you can. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I said, I got it. I just got it. That's what I told her. So, and so this is, this is January the 8th. Yeah, I beat Spider-Man January 7th. So January the 8th, I knew I was going to be on vacation for my birthday. So I went back there, man, and I started moving all this stuff. Dude, I rocked and freaking rolled. I got all that stuff moved out of there and then some. Man, I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. And I was like, all right. But when I got home later on that evening, though, I was like this. Every time I sit down, I tried to watch TV, I'd be like, head just snapping. I was like, Vic, you need to take your butt to bed because you stayed up the night before and you beat Spider-Man. So anyway, you guys, I like to tell you how this is an awesome game. I just told you. I had it, played it, got mad, got rid of it. Turned around, bought it back, played it again, lost all my saves. Then I had to reload it and then reinstall the game because I had to get a PS Plus membership. Just so if I lost all my saves again, it'd be in the cloud. Because once it gets to the cloud, you can retrieve it. So, double dip, bought it. This ain't even the original Spider-Man. I had another Spider-Man I bought back in 2018 when it first came out. And I got rid of it because I got mad because I couldn't complete it. And this is a brand new one. Anyway, you guys. We'll catch you later. 2026, baby. Off to a good start when it comes to playing these video games. Because I told you I'm working on another one. And I'll be putting up a review about that one. But I told you the story about this. This is a really good story. I was surprised, man. I was surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. And I was wrong. God bless and we'll catch you next video. We'll see you.